That's what you want to be able to do to try to get that right rear to be able to burn and try to get that card to rotate. Here he comes down into turn number 3. Not as low as we have seen some drivers. Actually, he's going to send it all the way down to the yellow line. Hit the line this time around. Jevin Guralski, he's going to end up beating out Dean Gagliano with a 27.8, but it's not done yet. Here he comes down on the bottom of the racetrack, literally just straddling the yellow line. As now we see Kyle Adams out here. Now he's going to turn a lap, but Jevin Guralski still heating it up down the back straightaway. We'll see if he can ease up to the top of the leaderboard.
Well, as we'll see, people are sliding on that right rear, and that's something that we're going to watch in this race. As we just saw Kyle Adams go for a 27.5, and Jevin Guralski, his best lap was a 27.8, so that'll put him 9th. Kyle Adams currently sitting 5th on his second lap. But as we see these cars rotate through the corners, you can see that right rear just wanting to slide, and that's what we're going to be watching all race, talking about burning up that right rear. It is going to be so easy to do, and these drivers are going to have to make sure that they are watching their tires, because I believe they have maybe one set, if not zero. So these cars are going to have to be carefully taking care of their tires, because if they don't, their race will be over before it even starts.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to be able to take care of your tires. That's one of the keys here in this race. Much like do not burn up the right rear. You don't want to burn up any of them, honestly, but that right rear is going to take more of a pounding than the other 3 tires. As we see Keegan Busch in the number 27, here he comes to complete. Go ahead and get his warm-up lap going right here. We'll see what Keegan's got. He's got to get a 27.456 to be able to knock Jake Sylvia off the pole. Cuts it down on the apron like we've seen every single driver do. Now here comes Keegan. He's going to keep it down on the bottom. Back end starts to come out just a little bit. He's got to drift it up the racetrack to be able to carry it and keep it stable. Now hits the backstretch. Going into turn 3 for the first lap. Keegan Busch sends it into turn 3 very, very low. He's going to drift up and try to cut it back down as hard as he can. Keegan Busch, 27.6. 2-2, so he's going to put him in pretty good spot right here, 7th on the leaderboard so far, but he's got one more lap. Scott, we'll see if he can get up there and knock Jake Sylvia off that pole.
He's going to try to roll it off of turn 2 here, as we see Michael Weissman will put down a lap for a 27.478, sitting him 4th right now, as we'll see Keegan Busch coming out of 4 on his second lap. We'll see if he can beat the time of Jake Sylvia. Will he? No, a 27.499 seeds him 6th, just behind Deegan Smith and Michael Weissman, as Michael Weissman will see him rotate through 1 and 2. Can he improve on his first lap? No, a 27.478 will be his best, and best enough for 4th. So a great lap. And one thing we'll see that's important about these laps here today, Jacob, the exits of these corners are mightily important. Of course, every aspect of the racetrack is important, but the big thing is this track is big, and with big tracks comes momentum. It shifts to more of a momentum style driving. So if you have a bad exit out of turn 2 or 4, you can kill your momentum all the way down the front or back straightaway, and as you drive down the back or front straightaway, it will continue to slow your lap down until you can get to the next corner. So these drivers are very much focused on their exits these corners, maybe just a little bit more than the entry, as we'll see the 55 of Hector Ayala, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, who knows, as we'll see him out on track now, coming through 1 and 2, exiting, driving down that backstretch, trying to carry as much speed as he does, now diving down into 3. This is a really tricky entry. You have to let off early and try to get on the throttle, stick it to the bottom, coming out of 4 across the line, diving down, and we'll see what he puts down on the board, a 28.028, and we'll see if he can improve on his second lap, but currently that puts him in 13th. He'll be hoping for just a little bit more on this lap as he's coming out of 2 for the second time.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, Scott, I mean, from what I've been able to see, it's usually the first lap that's going to be the more faster lap. So we'll see what Hector's got right here. See if maybe he can do what nobody else has done and be a little bit faster on that second lap. And ironically enough, hell yeah, he is. So he's going to end up going up to 11th instead of 13th. I mean, still not what Hector wanted right here in the number 55, but Still, he's not going to be dead last right here on the field. He's going to be sitting in P11, as it looks like he's actually just going to keep on going right here for another lap from what it's looking like, and actually probably not. So, I mean, for a second, I thought he was just going to keep on going there for a second, Scott, but looks like we're getting ready for maybe some heat racing right here in just a second.
Yes, we will, and we don't have many for this heat race, so I'm not sure if we're gonna have it or not. But right now, we currently have one, so we'll see if we might advance through that. But no matter what, it is going to be an interesting race here today. It's just going to be about tire management and seeing what people can do here today, and how they can handle this big track. Again, we've been to Rockingham. It's going to be different. This track is extremely asymmetrical like we're talking about, but these drivers are going to have to approach it very differently. You know, we're talking about Jake Sylvia. He's ahead in the points by just over 100 right now, but who knows? Tyler Mueller has the most top fives of any of our top tens of any of our drivers, with 9 top tens out of the 10 races that we've been to so far. So Tyler Mueller and as well as Deegan Smith have been driving very well behind Jake Sylvia. So Jake Sylvia cannot let up in any way, or those two drivers could come and try to steal that away from Jake.
Absolutely. And folks, you know, another thing about this track, I mean, obviously we're watching a late model race. If you think back, think about, you know, some of the late model stars that have ran here, I guess you could say in the NASCAR Cup Series, that have come out here and won races here at Phoenix. Think back to even, you know, Chase Elliott. He ran the Snowball Derby. He's a past champion. He's a past winner here at Phoenix. Think back to also William Byron, who has been lights out in these late model stocks as well. He's actually won a race here. So a lot of NASCAR stars that's won here. We'll see if any of these guys can get out there and possibly get a win here tonight.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back for the feature race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, we are back here, and we don't quite have enough drivers for our normal heat races, so we're going to jump straight into the feature when we can today. So we've got, I believe, 13 drivers, and we talk about that hunt for that championship. What do you think, Jacob, that Jake Sylvia is thinking right now?
I'll say this, I mean, you know, Jake Sylvia obviously going to be on the pole, but there will be an invert. I believe the number is 9, if I'm not mistaken. Scott, you may have to correct me on that.
You are correct on that.
Obviously, he's going to end up relegating all the way to 9th place. Mueller, he'll end up going to 8th, so on, so forth. So it's actually going to put Dylan Calabro on the front row. Right beside him is going to be Waylon Robinson, but that's going to be something that Jake's really going to have in his mindset to be able to get up here. And let's not forget, like we talked about, what happened last time these drivers raced 2 weeks ago at the Bull Ring. Tyler Mueller, he's going to be right there in that area. Granted, everybody talked about it. Everybody talked to Kyle Adams, all 3 parties, got everything squared away. Both of them ended up finishing dead last because of their actions at the Bull Ring, so both of them not able to, I mean, they got points, but they relegated to dead last in the field. So, but still, You got to know right there that there is a little bit going on between both of those guys. There was words exchanged during the race and even after the race between both of those drivers. So I'm sure Jake's got that in his mind. Obviously, you know, with Tyler, you know, being aggressive and all the stuff that happened 2 weeks ago, I'm sure he's got that in his mindset. What he's got to be is very calm, very cool, very collected. He's going to be starting back here, like I said, deep in the field. He'll be back there starting ninth when this bad boy gets going. He's going to have to work his way through the field, try to save those tires, get back up to the front. He's won a lot of races so far this season, Scott, so he's got a shot to be able to get up there. I mean, honestly, the results show themselves. I mean, they speak for themselves, rather. So we'll see what he can do, as it looks like we're getting ready to grid him up.
Well, we've seen him go to the pole many a times and be on the back of that invert, and we've seen him win many a more times. So we're going to see if he can do it again today, as we'll get ready for the grid in just a moment. Until then, you know, I wanted to talk more about that point scenario. We've got our top 5 in points. We've got the 88 of Jake Sylvia out there at the top with 889. In second, the 1 of Tyler Mueller with 784. But in third, I really want to talk about this real quick. The 45 of Michael Weissman. You know, we talk about Deegan Smith, we talk about Tyler Mueller, we talk about Jake Sylvia. Those are guys that have been very, very prominent at the top of this field. But I think we keep forgetting about Michael Weissman. You know, 2 races ago at Kern County, he's always up there near the front of our races. So Michael Weissman, not to go unnoticed here in our championship fight, as we'll get to the grid now. On pole will be that 71 of Dylan Calabro, and in second, the 133 of Waylon Robinson. In our second row, that 24 league owner Kyle Adams in P3, and in P4, the 27 of Keegan Bush. In row 3, the 15 of Deegan Smith with a 27.497 to put in P5, and the 45 of Michael Weissman starting P6 for this race. In row 4, the 251 of Jacob Alexander, P7, and in P8, the number 1 of Tyler Mueller. And in row 5, rounding out our top 10, will be P9, the 88 of Jake Sylvia, and in that top 10 spot in P10 will be Jeremiah Rychecki. Well, we're going to get them rolling with the last of our field. We're going to get rolling for green here in just a moment. They're getting ready to go, as they're going to go green for this race, and we'll see how it goes. Already contact as they're diving down to the dog leg. Kyle Adams is all the way at the bottom. Dylan is holding a strong lead. Kyle Adams in the second. Waylon Robinson in third, but Dylan Calabro out there holding a commanding lead.
Wow, I'm telling you, but he almost lost that lead, and Adams is going to lose it coming off of 2 slams into the barrels right there at the entrance of pit road. No caution on the speedway, as there you see Kyle Adams got the whole right front completely jacked up the wheel, all bent out of shape. But I'm telling you, Scott, there for a second, Calabro did not almost lead him to the green flag. He thought, I mean, honestly, Waylon thought that Dylan Calabro was going to come down maybe a little bit more and got into this right rear. Here you see Kyle Adams gets right there on the seam right there on the apron. Bam, slam straight into it. The whole car lifts completely off the ground. So unfortunately, Kyle Adams, his night is done before it got even started.
So frustrating. I mean, he started just back there from P6 and made it up to P3 just by cutting the dog leg, as now we'll see a fight for the lead. Waylon Robinson inside of Dylan Calabro, and we'll see Keegan Bush almost getting in the back of him, but Waylon Robinson will take the lead from Dylan. And Keegan Bush will sit right next to him, right behind him, and Deegan Smith right there in third. So some powerful racing out here as Waylon Robinson holds the lead. But back to Kyle Adams there. You know, we saw him cut the dog leg, gain those positions, but then he just, coming through 1 and 2, just got loose and spun, and unfortunately spun right into the barrier. So very unfortunate position for Kyle, but we still got the races going on, as we got Jake Sylvia battling in the back inside of Tyler Mueller. As we talked about, Jacob, there's beef there, but they're going to try to race clean. We've still got 60 laps to go, and these guys know that. They're going to try to keep it as clean as these guys can.
And how about old Deegan Bush up here, the number 15? He's going to ease up here into the second spot, shot right around Keegan Bush. Bush ended up going 3 wide. They're going to door bang a little bit. Michael Wiseman back there is going to door bang Dylan Calabro. Now Calabro's going to ease it down to the bottom side. Wiseman's going to end up shifting up to the top. Keegan Bush just tried to see if he can get on the loud pedal and get the hell away from him. Wiseman stuck up on the top side. Calabro down on the bottom. Right behind him, the 251, Jacob Alexander back here. And there you see Sylvia and Muller, they are back there as well. But for the moment, everybody trying to be very calm. But Alexander, he's not going to go down without a fight. He's going to ease up to the top side. Right behind him, 3 wide. Tyler Mueller sticks it in on the bottom side. He's going to shove the 20 of Garalix up there on the top side with Jake Sylvia. Now Sylvia's going to think about taking it 3 wide down on the bottom side.
Thinks better of it, backs out there, and Mueller will get the position on him and Goralski. Jake Sylvia inside of Goralski. I've seen 3 wide, I think already 9 times. On the restart, I think at one point we were 5 wide. I am not surprised by this at all. This is some amazing way. Jake Sylvia contact with him and Jevin Jarowski as Sylvia will lose the position back in 9th, still where he started, trying to get up and gain position as he'll lose ground on that backstretch and slowly moving away, as we'll see Waylon Robbins still out here with a commanding lead over Deegan Smith, and then Keegan Bush back in 3rd. Michael Weissman trying on Keegan Bush here, trying to get that 3rd position, but these guys have lined up just a little bit more single file now. Things might be calming down as we'll see Tyler Mueller going to the outside of Dylan Calabro, have that momentum outside of 2, rolling into 3. We'll see who has the advantage. They'll make contact. Tyler Mueller on the outside of Dylan Calabro. Will he have the momentum? Will they cut it down to the dog leg? They will. They're going down. Calabro still has the inside. Will he take the position? They are still side by side. Jevin Jarowski looking for 3 wide, backs out. Tyler Mueller still on the outside. He'll take the position. The 251 of Jacob Alexander's on the way to 3 wide.
They are 3 wide, and they are slicing and dicing. And Goralski, as I just messed it up a while ago, Jevin Goralski up here trying to see if he can ease up here and take hold of his positions as we got everybody getting up here. They door bang. Check this out. Sylvia comes up and gives Goralski a little bit of a hit. Thank you very much for that, sir. Still door banging. He's going to shove him all the way up into the wall. That's going to send Jeremiah Ratchecki straight back by him. Now Calabro, he's going to try to take a shot around Alexander, but thinks better of it. He's going to back away. But I'll say this, if Calabro has got any mindset about what's going on in his mirror, he better be watching that back bumper, because here comes Jake Sylvia. He's already shifted Goralski up the hill and already almost sent him into the fence. Sylvia is coming in a hurry. He wants to try to get back up here and get where he qualified, which was up front. He wants to try to get back up there.
I mean, you talk about beef. I don't know if Jake and Jevin Jarowski have some beef, because, I mean, he just kept hitting his door. He was tired of him. He wanted to get him right out of the way. We'll see him power on the inside of Dylan Calabro. Jake Sylvia will easily take a position into 7th. Jeremiah Rychecki also in front of Dylan Calabro. Dylan Calabro falling through the field down 8 positions from the start. He must have something wrong with this setup, because he has continued to fall through this field, as maybe we'll get a calm moment. Jevin Jarowski also coming on Dylan Calabro. We'll see him dive to the inside. Dylan Calabro trying to play a little blocking game. Jevin Jarowski trying to get around him. Dylan Calabro will hold that block, and we'll see if they'll come out of 4. See what Jevin Jarowski can do on Dylan Calabro here. Dylan Calabro just looks a little bit slow in that 71, as Jevin Jarowski still on his back bumper, diving down the inside. They're touching. He's inside. He's loose. Dylan Calabro. He's trying to hold on to it. Jevin Jarowski's still trying to get around him. They're inside. There's around.
He got into him. He got into him and sent him straight up the track. Calabro's going to be up in the fence. There you see the damage.
He's in the fence again.
Wow, I'm telling you, I mean, Goralski, he wanted to try to get that spot. There you see the sparks already flying off of Calabro. That was going to happen one way or another. Somebody was going to end up making contact at some point, some way, with how as hard as they was racing back there. Now you see Jeremiah Rychecki. He's going to try to ease up here and see if he can get a hold of Jake Sylvia. Sylvia's been very, very aggressive in that number 88 since the drop of the green flag, and for right reasons. I mean, he's back here. Obviously, he was the fastest car. The invert was 9. He ends up starting in a 9th spot. He's got to be able to drive back up through here and pass all these guys. But one thing he's got to keep in his mind, Scott, long race, 65 laps. We're on lap 15. This is still a long race. All these guys that's up front putting down some fast lap times. Sylvia's just got to be calm, be patient, and maybe he can ease back up here and get a hold of this. There you see Deegan Smith. He's going to slide up the racetrack just a little bit, see if he can jump in behind Keegan Bush. Bush trying to reel in Michael Wiseman, and Waylon Robinson has checked out. He's in another damn area code up there in the 133. Absolutely gone. Over a second over Michael Wiseman right now.
He's trying to hold it together, make sure that he saves tires, and I think that's what these drivers are starting to think about. We've seen a ton of contact. These drivers are now more single-filed out, trying to keep it together, hold on to it because they don't want to use up their tires. But we saw Jevon Jarowski turn Dylan Calabro. We saw Dylan Calabro making aggressive blocks, and Jevon Jarowski had had enough of it. He knew he was faster, and he was on his bumper. Dylan Calabro threw that block, and he threw one too many for Jevon Jarowski, as now we'll see Keegan Bush still trying to get on Michael Weissman for that second position. We saw Deegan Smith fall to fourth. He was in second. He fell down to Keegan Bush and Michael Weissman, as we've got most of these drivers singled out now, almost to 20 laps. We're 17 laps in, and we've had so much action, Jacob. I don't even know what to think. For a moment there, we were screaming at the top of our lungs, but these drivers have calmed down now a little, settled in, and trying to calm down this race and save what they got.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they really need to do. I mean, we saw a lot of hard, aggressive racing. Obviously, Calabro and Jarowski up there kind of getting into it. There you see Calabro still on the pit road. Adams, hell, he's still sitting there. I think he ended up maybe trying to go find the right front tire. I mean, it's there. It's just glitched into the right front fender. So he's going to be down there for quite some time. Unfortunate for Kyle Adams, who started this race in the third spot after the invert, and then right off the bat ends up nailing the barrels. I mean, hit them things so hard. I mean, I'm amazed that the barrels didn't move. But up front, Waylon Robinson, he's got out to about a second lead. Wiseman's actually kept it stalemate, if you will. He's kind of kept it stalemate and even holding off Keegan Bush. Deegan Smith, he's won a race. Matter of fact, he won at the Bull Ring last time 2 weeks ago. So Deegan Bush, or Deegan Smith rather, he's up here trying to see if he can reel these guys in as we look at a little bit of side-by-side action back here in the back. There's the 23 back here. He's trying to see if he can ease around here. That's Gagliano back here. He's trying to see if he can hold these guys off as well. There's Hector in the 55 as well. So this is the only side-by-side battle we're seeing for now. But we got plenty of time, like I said, folks. These guys will start mixing it up big time out here to try to get the positions that they want and try to be in a great position to try to get a win here at Phoenix.
These drivers will get back to each other as we see Jeremiah Rychecki still on the bumper of Jake Sylvia, trying to get that 7th position and take it from him. These drivers are more single-filed out now, but we know these drivers will be getting back together and battling for these positions. I don't think we've seen one driver not cut down the dog leg yet. I don't think we've seen one driver go through the regular front straightaway. So we've got some great racing out here as we've got Hector Ayla took that 10th position from Dean Gagliano. These drivers are all around the board right now, but they are fighting hard out here as Jeremiah Rychecki and Jake Sylvia roll through 3 and 4. Jeremiah Rychecki's going to have some momentum here and see if he can take this position away from Jake Sylvia, but that's a difficult scenario as Jake Sylvia is our points leader and winningest driver of this season. So Jeremiah Rychecki, let's see if he's up to the task. He's going to gain some momentum here out of 2. See if he can hold some momentum down into 3 and 4 and dive low. We'll see what Rychecki will do. He'll ride the top, try to gain some momentum. He's thinking about that exit. Jake Sylvia moves up the top. Rychecki down to the bottom. Let's see if he can get him. Sylvia cuts across the bottom to the dog leg. We'll see what they can do. Rychecki's still behind him. Sylvia holds the position.
And not to count out anything, but they're actually reeling in Jacob Alexander in the 251. They are reeling him in big time. So Alexander actually starting to come back to Sylvia and Rychecki. So while all this is going on, while Rychecki is just sending it every single corner, trying to see if he can get to the left rear and maybe try to see if he can get there. But I'm telling you, Rychecki's doing all he can to try to get to Sylvia and maybe try to use Alexander as a pick. I mean, they have been reeling him in big big time. There you see it, all three of them right here. This is literally the battle for 6. I mean, they haven't got this back bumper yet, but I guarantee you right here in about the next 5 laps, they're going to get to him eventually. So Alexander, there you see out the back bumper, looking back to Sylvia and Rychecki. Everybody else up front, they're kind of just riding it out. Wiseman's actually closing the gap just a little bit on Waylon Robinson, but he is not there yet. When he gets there, we'll let you know. But back here, Alexander, all these guys battling. There you see Muller. He's actually up here in a side-by-side battle with Deegan Bush. So Muller trying to see if he can ease up here after what happened 2 weeks ago. He wants to try to get as much points as he possibly can. How about the buck up on the left rear quarter panel? Shout out to the horns, the antlers, deer hunting style right there for Tyler Muller down on the bottom as he tries to work his way around Deegan Bush, or Deegan Smith. Everybody holding it down pretty good right now. It's Muller. He's going to hold it down pretty tight. See if he can ease down here. See if he can try to hold him down right here. See if he can hold on to what he can. Now Bush, or Smith rather, he's going to ease it down on the bottom side. Muller's going to end up trying to put the block on him, and they are reeling in. Oddly enough, Keegan Bush, as I've kept calling Bush the past couple of times, Keegan Bush is right here in front of this, and Wiseman is starting to reel in Waylon Robinson. He's cut it down to half a second. Robinson's had his time in the sun, but there's been so much battles going on back through the field, Scott. I mean, we haven't really had a chance to talk about Waylon Robinson, who started on the outside of the front row up here leading the race. We haven't had a lot of time to talk about him, but now we get the chance to talk about him as Wiseman now starting to reel him in. He's cut it down to 0.3 of a second, and he is all over the back bumper right at this point.
Well, Waylon Robinson might have used up a little more tire than he thought on that lead, but before Michael Weissman could get him in here, I would love to talk about our sponsor for these next 2 races, Sharp Design Co. Sharp Design Co. is a new startup company run by Tanner Berge and his brother. They're based out of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. They specialize in motorsport graphic design and production and installation of real-world racing vinyl wraps. We have a huge shout-out for them for helping us in this series and all that they do for us. Tanner Berge is actually a driver of the 35. Sadly, he's not here today, but shout out to Sharp Design Co. and all they do. If you need iRacing setups, vinyls, all of that, real world vinyls, hit up Sharp Design Company. Thank them for all they do for us. As we've got Michael Weissman has closed the gap to Waylon Robinson to just under 0.2 of a second. He keeps gaining out of 2. He keeps that momentum. Waylon Robinson just doesn't have that momentum out of 2. Michael Weissman is down now 1/10 right on his rear bumper. When will he make the move? As they're gonna come completing lap 32. We're halfway through this race, and Michael Weissman is on the tail of Waylon Robinson. Does Waylon Robinson have any defense? Michael Weissman dives low. He's going to have that momentum off of 2. He keeps running this line. It's been dominant. Waylon Robinson, can he do anything to defend and hold this lead off from that 45?
We'll see what happens. And Keegan Bush, he's actually back here trying to hold off Tyler Muller and Deegan Smith. So don't count both of these guys out, Keegan Bush and Tyler Muller. Both of them back here behind these guys. So if Wiseman ends up getting into the back of Robinson and both of them end up getting cleaned out, Keegan Bush and Tyler Muller, they will be in prime position to get up here and be 1-2. But up front, Robinson still holds it down, actually taps the fence just a little bit. This may open the door for Wiseman. Here he comes, sends it down on the bottom side. Robinson has to ease up the track and let Wiseman be able to have a lane. Now Wiseman cuts it all the way down, almost ends up hitting the inside wall where the pit road exit is. Now Wiseman, he's going to send it. He's going to try to pull the slider, maybe try to jump up in front of Robinson, but Robinson going to get the run in the middle of the track, side by side, wheel to wheel. Robinson, Wiseman right here at the halfway point of the race, and now Robinson's going to send it on the top side. Wiseman still trying to work the bottom.
Not clear. They're still too wide. Robinson just in the wall. That will give Weissman the lead. That little mistake will give him the lead. Waylon Robinson trying to mount a charge on the outside, but Michael Weissman has it. He has taken the lead of this race at lap 35. What a fight there. Absolutely amazing. Michael Weissman held that line through 1 and 2, had the momentum off of 2. A small mistake by that 133 cost him the lead and gave it to Michael Weissman. We talked about him before this race. We talked about how we haven't been talking about that much. Third in points, winner at Kern County, and he is now leading this race as we see Tyler Mueller just back in third, has gotten past Keegan Bush and is now on the hunt for Waylon Robinson. Waylon Robinson has now fallen to second. Let's see if he can hold off Tyler Mueller for third, but Michael Weissman has the lead.
And that's one man right there that Wiseman does not want to see up here in that third spot, Tyler Mueller, who was very, very fast and qualified. Obviously, he would have started second had the invert not happened. There you see the K9 right here on your screen for Tyler Mueller. He is absolutely rolling right now, trying to ease up here and get to the back bumper of Waylon Robinson. He's still got to worry about Keegan Bush. Bush is back there, but Mueller able to get around him, able to ease around him. He's going to set his sights on Waylon Robinson. But if I'm Wiseman, I'm trying to check out really, really quick, because when Mueller gets around Robinson, he is going to be hungry, just like that K9 was. He's going to be hungry and try to ease up here and get this win for that K9.
And that dog's name is Nix. All hearts are out to Nix. And that wonderful, wonderful K9. So again, all hearts out to the Winnebago County and the police department, police force of that area. You know, just talking about Michael Weissman again for just a moment. He's got that one win back at Kern County, but he's got 8 top 5s throughout this series. In only 2 races of this series has he not finished in the top 5. So he's just been flying under the radar. He's been accruing these points over all of these races, and he's out here today. He's wanting his second win of the series. He won 2 races ago at Kern County, but he wants to solidify this and tell these other drivers, tell Jake Sylvia, tell Deegan Smith, tell these other guys, Tyler Mueller, that, hey, I might have been quiet, but I'm there, and I'm coming for you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of drivers that would have that mindset as to being quiet, being very consistently, being quiet. And that's what Wiseman is in the short time that I've been able to call these races on these awesome Saturdays. These guys put on a hell of a show every single Saturday. Wiseman's been very, very quiet. He's been very wise, as I said back at Stafford. Been very wise, been very confident, and been very consistent. Now he's got a shot to get up here and get another win. But there you see, you're riding on board right here. That's Deegan Smith. He is all over this back bumper right now at Keegan Bush. Deegan Smith, if you remember, like I said 2 weeks ago, won at the bull ring after the whole, you know, the whole the whole mishap, I guess you could say, between all those guys. Smith able to get that win. He's trying to carry that momentum as much as he can. But one thing I am seeing, Scott, these guys are getting wider and wider and wider coming off of turn number 4. They're getting very, very close to tapping that wall. Like Robinson did, that's how Wiseman ended up getting past him and getting the lead. So a lot of guys starting to ease up even closer to the wall. That tire wear is starting to come into play right here, coming around this time, 23 laps to go.
I imagine with the setups these guys have on the cars just now, 42 laps into the race, their cars are really tightening up. Really hard to turn that exit and keep it low. So they're widening out that exit and cutting down as low as they can to keep as much momentum as they can on this track. As we've got a closer battle up here, Waylon Robinson has close that gap again to Michael Weissman. He's found something else, and Tyler Mueller is back on his bumper. So we've got a 3-way fight for the lead under a blanket here. They're all 2/10 back from each other. So Michael Weissman hasn't run away with it yet, and Waylon Robinson hasn't said, my day is done. He is not ready to give up that fight. Tyler Mueller not ready to give up that fight either. He's saying, hey, I'm ready to do something. I'm ready to win. I deserve it. I want it. I want it bad.
Absolutely, and don't count out these other 2 hungry guys back here, Keegan Bush, Deegan Smith. They're still back there. I mean, they're not as far back as Jacob Alexander is, who's 5 seconds back from the leader. These 5 guys right here, if any of these guys, if you had them in your pool at work, I think you got a shot to win this damn thing, because all 5 of them have been fast as heck. As here we go, Tyler Mueller, he's going to take one shot. He's going to send it down on Waylon Robinson. He's going to get the run off of the corner. Here comes Mueller. He's going to take one more shot as they got the lap car up there. That's Kyle Adams, who's just out there logging laps, just trying to see if he can get anything that he possibly can. But up front, Wiseman, that is what he wants to see, Scott. He wants to see Mueller back here trying to get around Robinson, fight him, make him work for it, and those guys not be able to lift. Get on the gas at the points that they want to be able to close Wiseman in. Wiseman wants to see these guys racing, and Wiseman just wants to keep logging laps, just keep putting down time trial laps. That's all Wiseman wants to see right now.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, but Tyler Muller made a huge dive into turn one of the biggest I've seen on the inside of Waylon Robinson, but it didn't quite work out. So he'll make that dive again into one, and we'll see if he can hold it. He just can't quite hold it, and Waylon Robinson has an exit, but they're still side by side. Let's see if he can hold it down the lead. No, he will lose it. Waylon Robinson still holds second for Tyler Muller. Tyler Muller is a fast car, but you are exactly right, Jacob. Michael Weissman, this is exactly what that 45 wants to see. He wants to see those two guys fighting back there while he can just stretch out that lead. But talking about stretching out that lead, while these guys are fighting, Waylon Robinson is still 2/10 back from Michael Weissman. So Michael Weissman is not running away with this opportunity. So if Tyler Muller or Waylon Robinson can stop fighting with each other, I think that either one of them has enough speed to go and get him. Let's just see which one of them can do it, as we see Deegan Smith now fighting on the inside of Keegan Bush, trying to take fourth position away as they'll cut the dog leg too wide.
Yeah, Deegan Smith, I mean, he has just been riding back there. Deegan and Keegan back here getting it going right here for that fourth spot. And Deegan, I mean, he's rode behind Keegan for long enough from what I'm seeing. I mean, he rode behind him, wanted to try to see if both of them could work together and maybe try to find some kind of speed to be able to get up here with these front guys, but it's just not enough. Deegan Smith, he's going to ease it past him. And here comes Muller. Muller's going to get around Robinson. Robinson ends up getting in the fence. That's what Wiseman did not want to see. He did not want to see Tyler Muller, or Tyler Muller rather, get up here and get around Waylon Robinson for that second spot. So now Wiseman, he's going to have to turn it up a notch. He's going to have to kick those wheels into high gear if he wants to try to get this win. These laps are winding down very, very fast. It is a long race, but they're winding down pretty fast. 15 laps to go. Wiseman's going to have to put it in gear because Muller is coming, and coming in a hurry.
Man, that was a big mistake from Waylon Robinson, and it gave second position right to Tyler Muller. Tyler Muller had been fighting with him for a little bit, but I think if he hadn't made that mistake, they would have been fighting for a lot longer. So you're right. That is not what that 45 wanted to see, and now Tyler Muller has one objective: get around that 45. He's got 14 laps to do it. Let's see if he can change it up, change up his style, keep that speed, but he's consistently running just a little bit faster than Michael Weissman, so he is slowly reeling him in, as we'll see him run that bottom line here in 1 and 2. Carrying that momentum off of 2 down the backstretch, trying to just gain slowly on that 45. They'll send it down into 3 here, rolling through 4. Weissman drifts up the track. Mueller holds it low, and they'll both cut the dog leg, coming to 13 to go.
Mueller going to see if he can try to reel him in, and Wiseman trying to see if he can get away. It's like Smokey and the Bandit right here, Scott. You got Wiseman as the Bandit, and Tyler Mueller, he is, I mean, he's Sheriff Justice. Honestly, he is trying to chase him down, and obviously with, you know, the heart, you know, that Tyler Mueller has for what he's racing for the canines, for the police, that's perfect right there. Come on, Justice. Let's
Really
get Bandit for one time right here. He's trying to get to him. He's getting up to the back bumper. He may send it down on the bottom. Here he goes down to the bottom side. Wiseman's going to have to give him some room. Maybe even ended up overdriving the corner. Tyler Mueller in the number 1, started 8th here in this feature. Here he goes to the inside on Wiseman for the lead.
Weissman still has it on the outside, but now Tyler Mueller coming back to the inside. They're still too wide for the lead, as we'll see Tyler Mueller down on the dog leg. Michael Weissman carrying some momentum into 1 and 2. Mueller, he'll dive it down low. They're still side by side through 1 and 2. Weissman trying to carry momentum off of 2. We'll see if Mueller can hold it. They're still side by side. And while we talk about all of this, Waylon Robinson is back in the picture. 1/10 back from the both of them. Tyler Mueller backs off. Michael Weissman still holds the lead. We're a 3-way battle for the blanket, cutting down the dog leg. 10 laps to go here from Phoenix Raceway. Tyler Mueller almost clear. He'll clear him. Tyler Mueller takes the lead, but Michael Weissman is not done yet.
No, he is not done, and he's going to try to see if he can work this top side. Now here comes Waylon Robinson. He's going to take a shot to the inside, thinks different of it, and banks away. Sucker, I mean, I'm telling you, Scott, this sucker is far from over. Wiseman tried to send it in, had to get on the brakes, almost ended up running over Tyler Mueller, and now Mueller, that might be what he wanted right there. He's going to see if he can try to check out right here, but like I said, it is not over, not by a long shot. Wiseman trying to send it in, trying to stay with Mueller, because if Mueller makes one little slip, he hasn't done it yet, but I've seen it numerous times, Scott, where one guy has the lead, leads for a good portion, and then slips just for a little bit. Wiseman didn't slip. Wiseman is trying every little bit that he can. Now he slips now. Just as soon as I say that, he slips. It gets loose. He is driving the hell out of that number 45, trying to get it up there, and now Robinson's going to send it on the top.
It couldn't be more perfect for Tyler Mueller here. Waylon Robinson trying to go to the outside of Michael Weissman. He'll have the position. He'll take second. Now Weissman made that mistake. Can Waylon Robinson go and take the lead for Mueller? Mueller almost half a second in front of the both of them. Does Waylon Robinson have anything for him? Coming down to 7 laps to go. Can Tyler Mueller hold him off for that 7 laps? 7 miles to the win. That's a long time, and we'll see if anything can happen. But Michael Weissman, a huge error out of 3 and 4 there, as meanwhile Keegan Bush has he's 1 lap down, had a huge issue. He's down in 11th, dropped 7 positions at the start.
Caution's on the speedway.
Our first caution of the day. Wow, didn't think we'd see it today. Dylan Calabro, I believe he was spinning right there in front of Keegan Bush. Not sure what happened, but our first caution with 6 laps to go. Oh my gosh, it couldn't be a better story. Absolutely. Tyler Mueller has the lead. Waylon Robinson in second, Michael Weissman in third, Deegan Smith in fourth, and Jacob Alexander in 5th. Wow, this is not what Tyler Mueller wanted to see at all. It's exactly what Waylon Robinson and Michael Weissman wanted. Wow, 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 wow.
And the caution for all of that right there was Calabro and Jarowski. Both of them end up getting involved. Jarowski tried to keep it down on the apron. He ends up getting into the back bumper of Dylan Calabro, sends him all the way around. Not real sure exactly what was going on right there with that. I mean, I'm sure, Jevin probably thought, well, I'm on the lead lap, let me go. And Calabro, he was just trying to hold on for everything he had. He's got a damaged car. He's 23 laps down, but he's still got a right to try to be out there as well. So I think maybe he might have jumped down in front of Jarowski, and Jarowski just had enough of it and just hit him in the ass and just sent him straight around. We'll check it out right here on the instant replay if we can. But I mean that's exactly what happened. I mean, between Calabro and Jarowski. Jarowski, like I said, he just tags him in the back end and he'll send him around. We'll see it right here. There's Calabro. He's down on the track. He was trying to keep it under pace. We'll try to see if we can get the replay here in a minute for you folks. But I'm telling you, I don't know for 100%. Well, I mean, honestly, I think there might have been beef there just a little bit because, I mean, Jarowski, he had it in the floor. He was going, and Calabro just came down in front of him from what I saw.
Well, we'll have word from our race control. The 20 was DQ'd for an intentional wreck there, so he'll be out of this race. And while that was happening, we saw Keegan Bush has disconnected from the server. He pulled down to pit road, disconnected. He was obviously having some sort of issue. He fell from 5th all the way down to 11, so he had an issue. We're gonna go green next time around. We'll have 3 to go, I believe, at the line, but these drivers are all stacked up, and it's going to be an absolute fight to the finish. We'll see Tyler Mueller will start on the inside, as we'll see our replay there, but Waylon Robinson will be on the outside here, Michael Weissman on the inside, Deegan Smith on the outside in row 2. It's going to be 3 laps to go as we're going to fight here. Tyler Mueller trying to hold that lead, trying to get the win, get his 2nd win of the series. Waylon Robinson going for a 1st win, Michael Weissman going for a 2nd win. So we've got some winners, we got some non-winners up here, and we're gonna see what happens. But these drivers are gonna be hungrier than ever. If we thought it was crazy at the start of this race, it's gonna be crazy now. And what we haven't said all day long, Jake Sylvia back in 6th in the 3rd row. He's been quiet all day long. Does he have an opportunity here to take another win? As we're green, Waylon Robinson has a great start. They can't cut down to the dog leg till after that. Tyler Mueller drops down. We'll see if race control looks at that. He dropped down just a little low. I don't know. Michael Weissman follows behind. Waylon Robinson on on the outside. Tyler Mueller holds the lead. Weissman going for second. Waylon Robinson getting trained on the outside. Deegan Smith going for third. A bad restart for Waylon Robinson. Tyler Mueller holds first, Michael Weissman, and then Deegan Smith. Deegan Smith on the inside of Michael Weissman now.
Deegan Smith may have wanted that caution. I mean, I'm telling you, he was fast. He was back there trying to save every little bit that he could. Now here comes Deegan Smith. He's going to send it below Michael Weissman. Take that second spot. Tyler Mueller probably didn't want to see this 15 back here. He has got a lot of momentum from what happened 2 weeks ago getting the win. Tyler Mueller going to see if he can try to hold him off. Deegan Smith right behind him as they are racing their asses off back here behind him. Robinson ends up getting sent up the track. Alexander's going to go around him. Weissman's going to get loose right behind him. White flag. Here comes Deegan Smith for the lead.
Can Deegan Smith do anything here in 1 and 2? He's going to try to power down to the inside. Can Tyler Mueller hold him off? Deegan Smith drifts up high. Going to try to have some momentum down the back straightaway. Weissman is around the back. They're all wrecking around the back, but they're going to race to the end. It's these two drivers out front. Can Deegan Smith do anything here to 3 and 4? No, he can't. Tyler Mueller's going to pick up a win.
Tyler Mueller's going to get the win. Deegan Smith second, Jacob Alexander third, and Weissman straight up lost it back there off of turn number 2. Bunch of drivers end up getting involved. Jake Sylvia, one of those. Jake Sylvia is actually driving backwards across the start-finish line, trying to give it a throwback to Kyle Busch, but how about that? Nix is going to be proud of that one right there. Tyler Mueller gets the win here tonight at Phoenix.
Wow, what a finish. Deegan Smith gave it everything he had. He jumped from 4th all the way to 2nd on the restart. As we'll see a replay of what happened here in the back. Michael Weissman on the outside just steps out, gets loose, and collects Jake Sylvia. Jake Sylvia up and around, spinning around, collects the 55 of Hector. They're all around. But it's the big news for Tyler Mueller getting his 2nd win of the series. That will put him now with 10 top 10s, 7 top 5s, and his 2nd win of the series. What a shout out to Nix. Absolutely story win. The 133 had jumped the start, but wow, what a race for Mueller. Took the lead from Michael Weissman with 15 to go, and he held it on that restart. What a beautiful story. Absolutely amazing. We're going to cut to commercial, and we'll be right back to have an interview with our drivers and get with our finishing grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, we are back here at Avondale, Arizona after an absolutely heater of a race, and we're gonna have our finishers here. What an absolutely amazing race. In first, obviously, Tyler Mueller. In second, that 15 of Deegan Smith just couldn't quite get to the back of him and finish out that race. In third, we'll have the 251 of Jacob Alexander. In fourth, the 12 of Dylan Gagliano, making up a huge run getting through that wreck. And in fifth, we'll have the 78 of Jeremiah Ryachecki. In sixth, we'll have the 88 of Jake Sylvia. In seventh, the spinner Michael Weissman held an amazing race, couldn't quite hold it on the restart, spun out, finishes in seventh today. In eighth, the 55 of Hector Ayla. In ninth, the 133 of Waylon Robinson. Amazing from him. He got a black flag, had to serve that penalty and go to the back for jumping the restart. And rounding out our top 10, the 27 of Keegan Busch.
Absolutely, and there you see Kyle Adams. I mean, unfortunate for him, right off the bat, just spinning it out right there, coming off of turn 2, ends up hitting the barrels. Kyle Adams is going to finish in the 11th spot. Dylan Calabro will finish in the 12th spot. And, I mean, there it is. Jevin Jarowski ends up getting DQ'd, so he's going to finish dead last on the field here this evening, and we're still waiting on everybody to jump into the waiting room right here, Scott. Hopefully we'll be talking to Tyler Mueller right here in a few short moments.
Well, I hope so, because I want to talk to him about how he held that on the restart, because he had to be absolutely slapping his desk when that caution came out. We hadn't had any cautions at all during the day, and with 6 to go, we had one come out, and I bet he was so upset, but he had to know that he had to lock in and snag that win there. But what a finish from this racetrack. Absolutely amazing race today, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute barn burner all the way down to the end. I mean, folks, I mean, this is the kind of racing that you really want to see. I mean, you want to be able to see some good hard racing. You got your wrecks. You ended up, getting the wreck stand. Maybe got one at the starts for all you Demolition Derby fans out there. You got a good wreck out of this once or twice. Obviously, that's not what these drivers wanted. They didn't want any type of wrecks. They want to be able to get out here, showcase their talents, and be able to showcase further sponsors and everything like that. But, I mean, hell of a finish all the way down to the end. I mean, Tyler Mueller started 8th after the invert and drives all the way up there, gets around Wiseman and takes the lead and gets gone with it. Deegan Smith also, like I said 1-2 weeks ago, he comes up here riding that momentum from the bull ring, comes up here and gets a second place finish too. And Deegan Smith's in the transfer room, still have not found Tyler Mueller. Don't know where he's at. He probably said to hell with it, went and got him a case of beer, and he's going to celebrate this win. But we got Deegan Smith in the transfer room.
Well, we'll have him in just a moment. He's getting ready. Well, we've got Alexander in here, our 3rd place finisher. Jacob, you got me?
Yeah, I got you. I was going.
Well, what an absolutely amazing race. You were battling it out there for so long. You had to hold off Jake Sylvia. You were battling in the back. What were you thinking when that caution came out?
I was kind of grateful for it. I don't know the entire circumstances of what happened, but as soon as the caution came out, we kind of bunched back up for the restart. So able to capitalize on some mistakes that I made before too.
Absolutely. You ran an amazing race, a 3rd place finish. What were you thinking after the caution came out? What about that restart? What was going through your head? That's a difficult situation. We've got the dog leg. How were you thinking about that as a driver to maximize what you were given?
I was just trying to run the same line that I was running before and watching what everybody else was doing. I saw Michael start to get loose, and I was like, okay, I'm going to capitalize on that. It's unfortunate, but I was able to sneak that 3rd in. So,
well, what an amazing finish from the 251 of Jacob Alexander. Jacob, you ran an amazing race today. You fought hard. Absolutely wonderful. Before I let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Just thank you guys. Thanks for Kyle for having this for us to do and run. It's been fun. I haven't made the whole season, but the last couple races I've been running, I felt like I've been running pretty great. So.
Well, you ran an amazing race. That will be your 2nd top 5 of the season and your 4th top 10. So an absolutely amazing run from Jacob Alexander. Thank you, Jacob, for joining us. Next in the booth, we're going to get our 2nd place finisher of Deegan Smith. He'll join Jacob Reeves.
Yeah, Deegan Smith, this is Jake Reeves up here in the booth. And, I mean, Deegan, I mean, what a finish. I mean, man, that was absolutely crazy. My first question, I mean, obviously, you were back there battling with Keegan Bush, and at one point, I mean, it looked like you was just kind of riding behind him at one point, and then the top 3 just kind of separated. It looked like you just said, you know what, screw it, I'm tired of following him. I'm just going to hit the gas and just check out. But when that caution came out, what was going through your mind when the caution came out?
I knew I had a chance. The last 10 laps leading up to that, after I passed Keegan, I got slowly faster and faster every lap. And then that caution came out, and, I set out on new rails, but obviously I didn't have anything for Tyler with only 3 laps.
I mean, and that's unfortunate. I mean, honestly, because I was fixing to ask you. What could you have had? I mean, what could you have done better, or what? Or looking back on it, to be able to get Tyler? I mean, was there anything you could have done, or was it just Tyler just had the better car at this point?
I think he had the better car, but also my car was super tight until I finally wore off that right rear enough where it'd start to loosen up.
And Deegan, going into next week is going to be Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach, obviously, very, very sacred ground, I guess you could say, for the late model stocks cars and short track in general. What's the mindset going to Myrtle Beach next week?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to race it yet. I'm planning on running the podium, so I'll have to see what happens in that and see if I can make it back in time. But I feel pretty confident going there. I'm usually pretty good there.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to see you there. We're digging. Before we let you go, brother, have you got anybody that you want to thank that made this podium finish possible here this evening?
I want to thank Fusion Setup Shop and Victory Fuel. If you haven't tried their lemon stuff or the fruit punch, that stuff's amazing. That's really about it.
All righty. Well, Deegan Smith, congratulations on the second place finish, and we'll see you next race, brother.
Thank you.
That was Deegan Smith up here, but we got to go with the winner right here. Scott, take it away with Tyler Mueller.
Well, Tyler, I'm glad you're joining me here in the booth. What an amazing, amazing win. You took the lead from Michael Weissman, just under 10 to go. But with 6 laps to go, that caution came out. What was going through your mind when that happened?
I don't know. I was a little upset. I thought I had that one wrapped up and the caution came out. And I knew everybody was going to be stacked up, and I knew there was a lot of fast cars behind me. So I was just hoping I could keep it up front there and see. I was just going to go with whatever happened. I was happy with where I was.
Well, once Michael Weissman spun out from third position on that restart, Deegan Smith was the only one in your mirror. What were you thinking about having to hold him off, or did you know that there were so little laps to go that you could hold on to it? What were you thinking?
I determined in my mind that if I had less than 2 laps, less than 2 laps, I could hold him off. But if there was anything more, he was going to get by me. And I had less than 2 laps to hold him off, so I had a good feeling I could do it.
Well, Kyle told me the story about Nix and everything with the Police Force K9. What does it mean today to win supporting Nix on the car today? I know that's got to be emotional. I know that's got to be cool. What is that feeling for you?
I can't even explain it. It feels awesome. I knew when I saw what happened that I had to do something to honor Nix, and I determined just making a whole car would be the best way to do it. And clearly Nix must have been watching over me tonight as I did this one.
Wow, well that is amazing. You won back at Rockingham, mile track. You won here at Phoenix. You've won both the long tracks here. You've obviously got a knack for it. That puts you at 2 wins on the season, 7 top 5s, and now 10 top 10s. You have the most top 5s and top 10s of the season. You're second in points. You've gained a good bit on Jake Sylvia now. What is your outlook on this fight for the championship? You currently sit in second, going after Jake. You've got 2 races to try to make up that deficit. What does that look like over the next 2 races?
I'm just going to put my head down and drive. I'm not gonna hope for a lot of things to happen. I'm just gonna go out there and do the best I can. It's obvious that I can get there, but we're gonna hope, and we're gonna think that we can, and hopefully we can do it.
Well, Tyler Mueller is gonna drive his heart out. Tyler, before I let you go, anyone you'd like to thank today?
I want to thank my best bud, Mike Weissman. He helped me with a setup this week. If it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't even be racing tonight. I want to thank my designer, CB Designs, for giving me this idea at the start of the week to run this car. And then I want to thank Kyle for having this whole series. This has been the most fun I've ever had on iRacing.
Well, Tyler Mueller, the number 1, your driver from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, is your winner today at Phoenix. Thank you so much for joining us, Tyler. It has been an amazing race here today. I have been absolutely excited. What about you, Jacob? Tell me about this race. Come on.
I'm telling you, I mean, it's been a hell of a race all the way from start to finish. Like I said, I mean, you pretty much got really everything that you wanted out of this. I mean, you got a wreck right off the bat. You got a wreck at the end of it, but you got a lot of great hard racing all the way through it. You got a lot of guys wanting to try to save tires. You had some comers, you had some goers. That's normal in short track racing. That's normal in any type of racing. But I mean, what a storybook finish, honestly, you know, for Tyler Mueller and Nick's riding on the car. I mean, you can't paint a better picture than that right there, Scott. So congratulations to Tyler, and obviously, you know, our prayers are with the family of Nix and everybody involved.
Absolutely. We will move on next week, Saturday, February the 10th, to Myrtle Beach Speedway. It's a half-mile track. It's difficult, it's tricky, it's weird, but it is most importantly fun. These drivers are going to set their sights down on next week. That'll be broadcast February 10th at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, all live on the Misfits YouTube and Podium Esports YouTube. So, we just talked about the race again, Jacob, and we talked about everything. Final thoughts heading into next week at Myrtle Beach.
I'm telling you right now, I mean, like I said, fantastic race, but I cannot wait to get to Myrtle Beach Speedway. That is old school short track racing right there. That is the kind of racing that we absolutely love. Dale Earnhardt Jr., he ran there numerous times in a late model stock, so I got a good feeling. I mean, old school with that. I mean, may end up seeing some guys out there throwing back some Dale Earnhardt Jr. paint schemes. May end up seeing that because that is where he got his stomping grounds with the late model stocks. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a show. It really is.
Well, we've got Tyler Mueller taking the win today. He sits second in our points. Michael Weissman sits third. But one of the big things today that we didn't get to talk about was Jake Sylvia. Jake Sylvia finished in sixth today. He's going to have to take that points deficit from today and try to hold off Tyler Mueller. We'll see what he can do. We had a wonderful race today. Thank you to all of the guys. We thank you for Sharp Design Co. and everyone out here supporting us. Thanks to the team today, DJ in the booth, Jacob and Dougie Beard. For everyone at Misfits, for Ryan Bauer at Podium Esports, for our camera bully Dougie Beard, and tonight's broadcast, DJ Lyon, my colleague in the booth. My name is Scott Shive, and Jacob Reeves with me. Thank you so much for joining tonight's broadcast. We'll see you next week at Myrtle Beach.